This is some exciting news. The new summon feature for Tesla is coming, and it's coming about 6 weeks. Now, the summon feature is one of the more exciting features that I like to freak people out or just impress when they ask me to showcase my car. This is essentially where you can move your car, relatively far, from one parking spot to another or out of your garage without being in a car. You can do it with your app. You can do it with your fob right here. And it's really cool. I actually, people do get freaked out sometimes when they see the car kind of coming out of a parking spot without anybody in there, and when the car comes out of the garage or goes inside of the garage. It's really cool. I don't use it very often, and let me know in the comment section if you guys use it very often. But it's it's definitely a trip. So I'm going to tell you what Elon just tweeted and suggested what's coming up in 6 weeks. And then I'll add a couple of interesting stories of myself. All of this is coming up next. Taking over the world, electrifying the world, Thank you to those of you who are watching me live on Patreon. And of course, if this is your first time here watching me on YouTube, welcome. If you are interested in staying up to date on everything that's going on in the world of electric cars, go ahead and click on that subscribe button so you don't miss anything moving forward. All right, so here's what Elon tweeted out today. Actually, he said Tesla Advanced Summon ready in about 6 weeks. Just an over-the-air software upgrade, so we'll work on all cars made in past 2 years. So essentially, V2, the version 2 and up. I'm assuming now. This is a little bit. I'm not really sure. Does the 2.0 Autopilot included, or it's only past? So now my car has a 1.0 Autopilot, and it kind of sucks that I won't be able to do it. Though I have to say that, as I mentioned earlier, I don't really use it very often. But the other day, my garage door broke, and I had to hold it up with my hands and try to get the car in there, while I was waiting for the garage repair service. And I was, I held it up with my hands, and I used my, fob to auto summon the car inside of the garage, and it couldn't do it, even though I had plenty of space, between my vault and the wall. It still ended up going back and forth, and then at some point it literally scratched itself. I was able to actually wax it off, so it didn't really have to go and repair the car, but it ended up basically running itself into the wall. And then I don't know if you follow me on Instagram, boom, right here, follow me at E4Electric, because that's where I post a lot of interesting things, kind of behind the scenes. And one of them, the reason I'm mentioning this, is because I actually ended up padding my sort of garage door corners on where my garage door closes, because I now scratched my Tesla and my Volt. So I don't want to be taking any more risks. Again, luckily I was able to wax it off of both of them. Anyway, so it wasn't perfect before. It was really cool, and now it looks like it's going to be updated. And so here's what it's going to be able to do. It says the car will drive to your phone location and follow you like a pet if you hold down the summon button on Tesla app. And I'm assuming it's not just a Tesla app, maybe it's also a fob, right? So that's not really, I wish he would just link us to also, maybe like instructions or whatever the feature summary. That would be kind of cool if he would do that. But now I have questions. I'm sure you do too. First of all, what do you mean it will follow you like a pet? I mean, I always wanted to have a pet, but what? So I'm trying to think of a case where I would want my car to follow me. And again, will it only follow me in the parking lot? Will it follow me down the street? Would it be able to tell if it's a street or a parking lot? Because, not all of it is some parking lots are part of the, let's say an apartment complex or a hotel where it kind of has a street, but it's not necessarily separated with the driveway into the parking lot. How is it going to know? Now, Elon did tweet something out also. He was basically saying that slightly smarter version, hopefully ready soon. By next year, a Tesla should be able to drive around a parking lot, find an empty spot, read signs to confirm it's valid, and park. Now, this is not part of what I don't think it is part of what this update is about. Now. So a lot of questions, and before I move on to the next tweet that he sent out right after this one, I just want to remind you guys that this show and this channel is sponsored by Evernex, the aftermarket accessories for Tesla. There is a discount code in the description of this video. You can use it, save yourselves a few bucks while you shop there. So go ahead and have at it. Thank you to Evernex. All right, so back to this. I hope he clarifies. I'm not really sure why, and how the car would follow you around and what the limitations are. Is there going to be speed limit, for example? Like, how fast is it going to go? And the other one, okay, so also says, also you'll be able to drive it from your phone remotely like a big remote control car, if in line of sight. Okay, that's another question. What do you mean by line of sight? You know, like, how do you know it's in my sight? I mean, you know, I'm not really sure if it's technically possible. Like, for example, if I'm a very tall guy and I can see my car through the tops of the cars in a parking lot, does it mean that it's actually in line of sight? Or if there are objects in between, then it's a no-go. And I'm still trying to figure out. And again, you guys, let me know what you think. Maybe I'm not reading this right. Definitely let me know in the comment section. How would it go, and how far would the car go? If I parked it in a 3-story garage, of a hotel, would it come out and meet me? Probably not, even though that probably is the intent at some point in the future. But how far does the car have to be? I'm assuming it's as long as it's in line of sight. But again, that is very subjective. So great news, because I think this feature is amazing. It's a really awesome feature. Just like I said, this kind of showcases the technology for those people who maybe are not familiar. And this is the way to surprise people into saying, whoa, these electric cars are really awesome. But on the other hand, I have so many questions that I definitely would like to know if maybe Elon will clarify those. Nevertheless, kind of sucks for those of us who don't have the latest hardware or whatever, so we won't get it. But I'm looking forward to seeing some of you use it on YouTube and Instagram, and seeing what kind of uses and what kind of limitations it might have. Let me know in the comment section. Meanwhile, I just want to thank some of you who have contributed to the show on my Patreon page. Simon Fiddler, thank you so much. You guys are the best. You not only get all these perks and access, and watching this live, and the extra mile segment that I do just for my Patreons, but you're also enabling me to do this full time now and bring many more videos, and hopefully of a better quality, and travel to locations where news happens so much more often. So thank you so much. And there's also Eric Shipham. Thank you, Eric. I usually was trying to feature one new Patreon a day, but there's so many of you joining, which is great, that I need to feature a few. And the last one, but not least, this is not a new Patreon. As a matter of fact, Ashley Hill is one of the most sort of active members of my community, my Patreon community and YouTube community. But he actually he was already a $20 a month Patreon, which is kind of at will, because my highest level is $5. Not only that, he just doubled it to $40. So don't even know what to say except for thank you, of course, so much for supporting him. And by the way, the reason I'm only doing 2 videos today from my studio is because I went live from Electrify America event, and you can see that on my channel. But it was really cool. I got to talk to the mayor of San Francisco. That interview is coming up in the next few days. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, go ahead and click on that subscribe button. And I also got to talk to one of the executives of Electrify America, as you can see right here. That was pretty cool, and that video is going to be posted as well. As you know, Electrify America has a lot of amazing projects, and the main one being the fast charging network, kind of a supercharger network for non-Tesla cars. So very excited. And don't forget that this Sunday, and pretty much every Sunday, I'm doing the subscriber hangout live on YouTube. So don't forget to join me for that. All right, can't wait to see all of your comments and guesses about what this updated summon feature is going to be. Other than that, see you next time, and remember to stay charged.